Hi, I'm Don Poirier, Director of Construction for Bucci. We're standing here in our Garden Drive project in east side of Vancouver in our 6-story wood frame project, aptly named Garden Drive. Today I'm going to talk about our party wall construction and how we differ from other designs. Our wall construction in between our suites that we've used here is a double wall construction. What this does is it gives us two separate walls that are completely separated from each other. These two walls don't touch other than the floor and at the ceiling line. This helps with our lateral noise transfer from suite to suite, which is the impact noise that you may hear from your neighbor. In addition to this, we also added insulation in between the wall cavities to help with the ambient noise that travels through the wall. These walls, our party wall constructions, are part of our structure itself. They basically hold up the floor assemblies. So in addition to all of the wall construction, we also have added additional joist members, and we've stiffened up these joists to take heavier loads for the building here. One of the major loads that we've added to this building is our concrete toppings that go inside our suites. What this concrete floor does is helps add mass to our assemblies, and mass is certainly our friend when trying to fight and combat noise that transfers between suite to suite. So, kind of recap, our party wall assemblies help with our lateral loads or noises from suite to suite, and our concrete toppings help with our noise from up to down. Some additional measures that we put into our concrete floors, and I should also note that our concrete floors are true concrete. They're not a lightweight material that we may see in some other projects. We add an additional material underneath the concrete. This is an isolation material, and what it does is, like the walls with the air gap, this here helps isolate the noise that comes from the concrete from your walking and any kind of activities that you do on the floor that transfers through. It basically deadens out the sound. The product that we're using here is a silent floor system. It's made of rubber, basically. We run this material not just on the floors but up the sides too. So part of this material also helps with our lateral noise transfer, so it doesn't echo through the floor and then transfer, because any hard connections such as nails and screws and hard surfaces like concrete and wood that are touching one another, noise tends to travel through that quite easily. So we try and mitigate that by adding these barriers in place. One of the things that we've done different here is that sound mat is not just ran up on our perimeter walls or our walls that we would consider a shared wall, so exteriors or party walls. We also run them up all of our interior walls. Not that we're looking to stop the noise from, say, your living room to your bedroom, but we recognize that wall is still connected to the overall assembly. So we're trying to minimize the amount of lateral noise or transfer noises through our structure. So, like I had mentioned earlier, our walls in this building take a significant amount of load from that concrete topping that we just talked about, but they also take a serious amount of load from our rooftop patios, which are heavily landscaped. They're going to look fantastic for the neighborhood, and so we've had to beef up a lot of our assemblies to take this load. So on our lower floors, where the majority of the load starts to transfer down to, our stud assembly down there is very tight. We're double studs at a very tight distance. This helps pick up all the loads so that we don't have a crushing effect all the way down to the substructure, which is our foundation. I also want to kind of show and illustrate the different levels of mitigation that we have and water mitigation items that are behind these elements here. So the first one is obviously our hot rubber applied membrane. It's on all of our horizontal surfaces, but they run up our building here to create the initial part of our assemblies. From there we have our building wrap, which you probably see on most buildings, which is then followed by a flashing detail, and the flashing detail is that if water ends up getting past whatever the finished surface is, it will get into there and it will still come and it still will land onto the flashing and then weep out. And that's why you always see these gaps every so often in brick, because these are weep holes. It allows the water that gets into the assembly to get out. And then this is that insulation that I was talking about before. This is that extra 3 inches, 2.5 inches of insulation that we add to the exterior of our building to give us a better insulating value for inside the suite. So when we talk about how much insulation is on here, We have our 5.5 inches of insulation in our 2x6 wall assemblies, but in addition to that, we have an extra 2.5 inches of insulation that is on our exterior side of the building, which is behind every single finished surface. So in this application, it's our brick. Another application will be our hardy panel or metal cladding. One of the things that we're very proud about all of our projects is how much we focus on our details, and why we're able to do that is because of our in-house construction. Our vertical integration of this entire company gives us the benefits and the latitudes to ensure that our projects that are delivered right. They're delivered to the best of our abilities to a community that is going to embrace them. So we know that this community here on Garden Drive is heavily populated with kids and families, and there's a school like 2-minute walk from here. So we're very excited to bring this project online later this year and to welcome all the families and the residents that move into this beautiful building, but also this beautiful community.